You think you know someone. You think you've seen every part of them, the way they laugh when they're nervous, the foods they push around their plate, the way they sleep curled up toward your side of the bed. But all of that can be shattered in a single moment. A single discovery that makes you realize you've been living in someone else's illusion. For me, it was the day I opened the closet and found another man's clothes hung neatly next to mine, as if he lived there too. I wasn't snooping. I wasn't trying to dig up dirt or fuel some paranoid suspicion. I was looking for a sweater, something simple to throw on before heading out. The house was quiet, sunlight streaming through the blinds, and I pulled the closet door open like I'd done 100 times before. And then I froze. At first I thought my mind was playing tricks on me. There, hanging right beside my shirts, was a row of men's clothes that weren't mine. Crisp button-downs, perfectly ironed slacks, even a jacket I'd seen before, but not on me. My stomach dropped, my hands trembling as I ran my fingers over the fabric. It wasn't just one or two items, it was a whole section, like someone had been living there, like someone had been invited into my life without my knowledge. I stumbled back, staring at the clothes, as if they'd sprout answers. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. The smell hit me then. Cologne, subtle but unmistakable, woven into the fabric. Not mine, his. Whoever he was, and the worst part, they weren't shoved in there, hidden in a rush. They were neat, organized, hung with care, as if she'd made space for him deliberately, slotting him into my life piece by piece. I sat down on the edge of the bed, staring at that closet, my head spun with questions. How long had this been going on? How many nights had I been sitting in this room, thinking everything was fine, while another man's clothes hung just feet away from me? When she came home later that day, she found me sitting there, the closet door wide open, my face pale. Her smile faltered the second she saw where I was looking. "What is this?" I asked, my voice raw, trembling. Her eyes darted to the clothes, then back to me. She opened her mouth, closed it, then laughed nervously. "Oh, those. They're just friends. He needed a place to keep some things. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal." I stood, my hands shaking as I gestured toward the closet. "Not a big deal. His clothes are hanging next to mine. Like this is his house too. Like he belongs here." She rolled her eyes, defensive now. "You're overreacting. He was in between places, and I was helping him out. That's all." I wanted to believe her. I wanted to cling to any explanation that didn't mean what my gut already knew. But the smell of cologne lingered, and her eyes didn't meet mine. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay there listening to her breathing beside me, my mind replaying every late night she came home exhausted from work, every time she guarded her phone like it was treasure, every unexplained charge on her credit card. And suddenly, all of it started fitting together in ways I didn't want to see. Over the next week, I started watching, not accusing, just observing, and the cracks widened. She'd take phone calls in the other room. She'd shower the second she got home. She'd smile at texts, and then flip her phone face down the moment I looked. One night, she fell asleep before me. I picked up her phone, my hands trembling. The passcode was still her birthday. I unlocked it, and my chest caved in. Messages, dozens of them. From him. Photos of them together. Him in our house. Him on our couch. Him in our kitchen. Cooking with her. Wearing the apron I'd bought as a joke. And then the words that made my blood run cold. "Feels good to finally have a place that's ours." My stomach turned. I felt like I was going to be sick. It wasn't just an affair. He wasn't just some fling. She had built a second life right here in the same space where she built one with me. I put the phone back down carefully, staring at her sleeping face. She looked peaceful, innocent, as if she hadn't just ripped my entire reality apart. The next morning, I didn't confront her. Not yet. Something inside me told me I needed more than anger, more than shouting. I needed proof. I needed her family, the same people who thought of me as their future son-in-law, to see who she really was. So I started collecting screenshots, emails, bank records, photos. I even checked the closet again and noticed something that made my stomach twist tighter. His shoes, sitting neatly at the bottom, lined up next to mine. Every piece I gathered, I tucked into a folder. Every lie she'd told became another page. And then, like fate had been waiting for the right moment, her parents invited us to a big family dinner to celebrate our engagement, to toast to our future. She was thrilled. She bought a new dress, booked a hair appointment, talked endlessly about how perfect it was going to be. And I smiled, nodded, played along, because I knew that at that dinner, in front of everyone she loved, I was going to show them the truth. Her parents' dining room was glowing with soft light, the table set with china they only brought out for special occasions. A roast filled the air with the kind of comforting smell that should have made me feel at home. But instead it made my stomach twist. All I could think about was the folder in my bag under my chair, packed full of truth. She looked perfect that night. A new dress, her hair curled, her smile dazzling. To anyone else, she was a bride-to-be, glowing with happiness. To me, she was a liar who had hung another man's clothes in the closet next to mine and pretended not to notice when I finally saw. Her father stood at the head of the table, glass in hand, beaming. We're gathered tonight to celebrate not just family, but the future. To celebrate these two, who are starting the next chapter of their lives together. He gestured toward us, pride radiating off him. A toast to love, to honesty, and to family. Everyone clapped, glasses clinked. She squeezed my hand under the table and leaned toward me, whispering, "Isn't this perfect?" And that was the moment. I stood slowly, the chair scraping the floor. The room quieted, confused by the seriousness in my face. She looked up at me, smiling nervously. "What are you doing?" she asked softly. I placed the folder on the table, the sound sharp against the wood. "Before we toast," I said, my voice steady, "there's something you all need to see." Her smile cracked. "Don't," she hissed, her voice low, her eyes darting nervous. I opened the folder and laid down the first photo, her in the kitchen, laughing while he stirred something on the stove behind her. "Our kitchen, my kitchen," gasps rippled across the table. Her mother's fork clattered onto her plate. Her father's face darkened. I laid down another photo, him sitting on our couch, his feet up, wearing the slippers I'd been looking for weeks earlier. And another, her curled against him on our bed, his arm draped over her like he owned the place. Her sister whispered, "Oh my God." Her father's voice was like thunder. "What the hell is this?" She lunged forward, grabbing for the photos, but I pulled them back and slapped down the bank statements. "Here's the rent you've been paying on his apartment. Here are the utility bills in your name, at his address. Here are the charges for dinners and hotels, when you told me you were working late." Her mother covered her mouth, tears already spilling. "Please tell me this isn't real," she whispered. She stammered, her face pale. It's not what it looks like. Not what it looks like," I snapped, my voice shaking now. "His clothes are in our closet. His shoes are lined up next to mine. He's been living in my home. And you," I pointed at her, my chest heaving. "You let me sit here tonight while your family toasted to love and honesty." The silence was suffocating. Her father slammed his hand on the table so hard glasses rattled. "Answer him," he roared. She broke then, sobbing, mascara streaking down her cheeks. "I don't know what to say," she wailed. "Say the truth," I said coldly. "Say you've been building a life with him while planning a wedding with me." She reached for me then, desperation dripping from her voice. Please don't do this here. Don't humiliate me in front of them. We can talk later, just us." I shook my head slowly. "You humiliated me the moment you brought him into our house. The moment you hung his shirts next to mine like he belonged there. This isn't my humiliation anymore. It's yours." Her father stood, his chair screeching backward. His face was red, his jaw clenched, his voice low and dangerous. "Get out," he said. She froze. "Dad, please." I said, "Get out," he roared. Her mother was sobbing openly now. Her sister buried her face in her hands. The cousins and aunts and uncles shifted uncomfortably, whispering furiously among themselves. I gathered the papers back into the folder, tucked it under my arm and turned to her family. "I won't be marrying her, and now you know." I walked out to the sound of her crying, her family's voices rising in anger and heartbreak behind me. Outside, the night air was sharp and cold, but for the first time in months, I felt like I could breathe. She didn't come home that night, or the next. When she finally did, she looked hollow, her eyes bloodshot. She dropped to her knees in the living room, clutching at my hands. Please, she begged. I'll end it with him. I'll throw his stuff out. I'll do whatever it takes. Just don't leave me. We can fix this. I pulled my hands free. You already left me. I'm just catching up. Her sobs echoed through the room, but I felt nothing. No pity. No love. Just emptiness. The fallout was brutal. Her father told her never to set foot in his house again. Her mother couldn't bear to speak to her. Her sister avoided her eyes whenever they crossed paths. The man she had risked it all for. He vanished. No calls, no texts, no promises, just gone. She tried to reach me for weeks after, first begging, please, don't give up on us. Then raging, you ruined me. You humiliated me. Then desperate, he doesn't even want me. Please, I need you. I never replied. Not once. The engagement ring went back in its box. The wedding was cancelled. The deposits lost. I moved out, into a small apartment that was quiet, empty, but mine. On it. At first the silence was unbearable. The bed too big, the walls too bare. But slowly that silence became peace, healing. I started running again, cooking for myself, reconnecting with friends. I drifted from. For the first time in years I wasn't checking my phone every 10 minutes, waiting for another lie. Sometimes, late at night, I still see it. The closet door swinging open, the row of his clothes hanging neatly beside mine. The moment my life cracked in half. But then I remember her face, at that dinner table, when I laid it all out, the way her mask shattered, the way her family's eyes turned cold, the way the silence swallowed her whole. That's what I hold on to. Not the betrayal, not the pain, the justice. She thought she could juggle two lives forever. She thought she could hand me a ring, and hand him my space, my home, my dignity. She thought she could keep her secret neat and tidy, like his shirts lined up in the closet. But she was wrong, because in the end, she lost everything. And I walked away with the one thing she'll never get back, my dignity.